Alright, welcome back everybody. So what I'm going to do in this video, what we're going to be doing now is what I want to do is I want to take this logo and put it on this shirt. But first I have to get rid of the art that's already on it, so let's go ahead and do that now. I have placed this new logo in this document and I have rasterized it. Now I want to select this layer, and there's a few different ways you can go about removing the logo. Now this is a photo I took of my friend Noah when I was in Israel. Really great lighting, just an awesome photo. So I'm going to do my best to try to kind of recreate something with the new one. So a few ways to go about this. I could use the spot healing brush tool. Let's try this first actually. So I'm going to increase the brush size and just kind of start painting over it. You can already see it's starting to get rid of the artwork. But sometimes this tool can be a little squirrely, so you just want to make sure that you're being intentional with the brush strokes. And just be patient too, you know. Sometimes this takes time. Most of the time, it takes time. So just be patient and just slowly but surely get rid of it. I'm going to go ahead and zoom in, maybe increase this a little bit. You can see the computer does a pretty good job at keeping like the shadows and almost the wrinkles in the clothing. It kind of keeps it there. And if you haven't already, hopefully now you're starting to realize the power of Photoshop. You can really do some so let's see. Looking pretty good. Now let's just try to get rid of these wheels next. Now again, I'm using the spot healing brush and I'm just gently brushing over it. Just these kind of repetitive motions. You could just try to click, but in this case for this shape, just the brush strokes are the most effective way of getting rid of this. And basically all this is doing is just rearranging the pixels that surround it. Not bad. And if you want, you can always increase this and kind of go in and try to blend up the spots you were just working with to kind of help it blend in better. A little bit more seamless. Alright, and we're almost done. Looks pretty good. Looks really good actually. Alright, let's check. Boom! Look at that. Literally looks like a blank white t-shirt. Alright, now hard part's over. So we just move on to the next phase, which would be making this look like it's an actual shirt. You know, and this information is really valuable, especially if you're somebody who wants to design clothing, but financially, especially now during this quarantine and these times of social distancing where you might not be in the best place financially. I know a lot of people are out of work. So in this case, having these skills during these times, think about it. If you can just make some cool logos and use Photoshop and Illustrator to create mock-ups like this, you don't have to spend any money on getting any samples made or any inventory. you can just create these images and then use fulfillment services like Printful or Printify. And look at that, now you're selling t-shirts and you don't have to spend any money besides the money you spent on the course, obviously, but you get my point. So hopefully you're starting to understand how valuable these skills really are and the different ways you can use them. So with that being said, this is too vibrant, it doesn't look realistic. So a great way to combat that, remember you come over to these blending options and you go to multiply. Now multiply works best when you're working with white. In this case, any white clothing, any white garments, multiply looks the best. And I'm not really sure. Here, let's try this. So I want to, okay, so like, let's just pretend this is a black shirt and you try to do multiply. Oops, select that layer first. It's like really hard to see. The white that is the background really helps you to see the artwork better while also blending it, making it look realistic. So I'm gonna go ahead and actually make this a little bigger. I kind of have my head tilted a little bit, try to mimic the curve. Let's see. Using the arrows now and shift to kind of move this around. Try to get the placement. Okay, that looks pretty good. Now, if you've been paying attention, and hopefully you are, you're kind of thinking one step ahead. So most of you are thinking, okay, let's start to add shadows with the burn and dodge tools. But first, before you do that, if you think back to the mapping videos, we're gonna warp this art to make it look kind of like it's flowing with the shape of the t-shirt. So what you're gonna do is make sure you have this selected. You're going to go to, where are we at? Edit, transform, warp, and then this grid comes up, and then you can just kind of start messing around, pulling on some of the, I want to call these anchor points, but I don't think they're anchor points, and then just kind of use your intuition with this. You know, what feels right to you. Kind of look at the way that the clothing is moving and try to match that. You don't have to get too crazy with it, but what intuitively feels right. Maybe this is coming up a little bit over here. Okay, getting there. Now we can do the last step, which is adding those shadows and highlights. I don't think we really need any highlights because most of the light is coming from this part of the photo. This photo was taken in Israel. I was there over this past winter, and this was on a kibbutz, which is kind of like a farm area in Urim, Israel. Incredibly beautiful. And we got some really awesome photos. And literally 10 minutes later, thunderclouds, it starts pouring rain. So we got pictures at the perfect time. Okay, so we're gonna do the burn tool. And then again, just like the mapping videos, just kind of follow the shape. Here, wait, let's see. I'm gonna do, I had it right the first time. Highlights, and you can always crank this up if you wanna accentuate any kind of shadows. I might have to go back in and warp this a little more where these words are, but for now I think we're okay. You can really see this is starting to look like an actual shirt, photograph of an actual shirt that actually exists, when in reality we all know that it doesn't. And again, this is strictly for creative purposes, and it's also alright, so that actually looks pretty good and pretty realistic. I think what I'll do, maybe if I just add more shadows, it'll look more curved. Yeah, that's looking better, honestly. Wow, it's amazing what some shadows can really do. Yeah, that looks really good. So there you have it. What I'll do now is I will save this as like a JPEG. Let's save this. Let's just call this Noah bike shirt. And now I can post this on Instagram, I could post this on my website, and I didn't have to spend a single dollar. So if you're someone out there who isn't in the best place financially, this is a great skill to have. Because again, the whole purpose of me making this course is for me to give you guys the tips and tactics that I wish I knew when I first got started. I couldn't tell you, because let's be honest, if you're an artist and you're creative, you love everything that you make, you think is the shit, no matter what it is. Unfortunately, that's not as far as the market goes. You can make what you think is the coolest t-shirt, but the market might not like it, and all of a sudden you spend $500 on getting shirts made and you're sitting on them and no one's buying them. Here, I'm trying to give you guys the skills to avoid that mistake. I wish I knew how to do this 5-6 years ago, and I would have saved so much money. Obviously, my skills have gotten better, and the designs have gotten better, and they do better, but this is just for creative purposes. Right now, during this whole pandemic thing that's going around, I don't even know if screen printing places are open. So even if I did want to buy $1,000 worth of t-shirts for this project, I probably couldn't. Now I can't make photos of the art of the t-shirts to share with the world and put on social media and Instagram and all that. I don't have to worry about any of that because I have the Photoshop skills, and now you do too, to make realistic images like this. So when you think about it like that, it's really valuable having this kind of knowledge. So that's enough for me talking your ear off and getting super fired up, but I'm excited for this. This collection goes live tomorrow morning, so super hype about that. All right, let's do another one.